morning and welcome to this Wednesday's reflection. And I haven't given it a title today of whose will do we seek to follow. In Mark's Gospel at the end of chapter 3, Jesus is trying to eat with his disciples, but is overwhelmed by the curious and those seeking his healing. His own family are not too enamoured with the name he is acquiring and the crazy company he keeps. Better for the family to come and take him home and speak some simple truths about family responsibilities. Jesus' response seems very, very disrespectful. Who are my mother and my brothers? And looking at those who sat around him, he said, Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does the will of God is my brother and sister and mother. In this Wednesday reflection, I use a recent American memoir novel to perhaps help us unravel these seemingly harsh and hurtful words that Jesus utters about family. One of the best-selling books in the United States in 2016 and 17 was a real-life memoir by J.D. Vance called Hillbilly Elegy. In 2020, a film was made based on the memoirs. Societal entrapment is the key theme of Hillbilly Elegy. And J.D. Vance's story is of his family's struggle to liberate themselves from the rot of a Kentucky Appalachian close-knit peasant community which time had passed by. The words home and family and staying put were so ingrained that they locked family members in endless menial jobs, internal squabbling, alcoholism and drug addiction, from which no escape seemed possible. And all that could be heard was endless wailing of misery, family violence and abuse. Human worth was enslaved by a misplaced idea of love and home. J.D.'s grandparents courageously left Kentucky and drove to set themselves free by moving to the industrial powerhouse of 1960s America in mid-Ohio, and all the promise of new community and prosperity that went with that. Their mindset, however, remained exclusive, inward-looking, regressive, rather than inclusive, outward-looking and progressive. And as the 1960s industrial miracle turned to rust, all their Appalachian nightmares were revisited starkly and horribly. The memoir triumphs in J.D.'s heroic efforts to break free from the quagmire of a hillbilly culture and recurrent economic misfortune by his dogged determination to work and study his way out of no-hope small-town America, and ultimately say to his family his future was in living life fully by leaving home and becoming a flourishing giver to the world, but so too never forgetting his roots and struggles. The road to freedom is a recurrent story of the ages. It is the story of Abraham. It is the Exodus liberation. It is indeed the Jesus story. The danger is, however, the new world never quite delivers the promise we look for. This is because we try to live life in a new place as we did before. Our brothers and sisters are our old ones, not those of the places we choose to make a new life in. We choose to hold on to an old mindset rather than see the need for a changed state of mind towards the new community dynamic we live within. Liberation asks that we feel the new community and live relationships that make a fellowship of like-minded people by listening out for the best in each other and fighting the doubters and undoers. New community seeks the unique gifts of individuals, not the entrenched short-sightedness that closed cultures demand. We are brothers and sisters of the Church of Jesus Christ, a fellowship which listens and respects the best in each other, the God in all of us. The compelling will of the God that permeates every atom of creation chooses us to build new communities which breathe freely and care for each other. We live to challenge communities which get too precious in own self-belief, because Jesus tells us such ways rob communities of the breath of life itself. Ours is a fellowship that strives to know freedom in living life fully and valuing the worth of all its members by being in step with the eternal will that makes creation. J.D. Vance transformed himself by seeing how close communities suffocate any love and worth their members may have. The walking away and living life and making strangers your friend is what Jesus is all about. For Jesus is the freedom maker and love builder and soul healer that sits within all of us. Jesus sets us free to be willed to live our lives, to build up others, and not for our self or community preservation. In all of this, we are asked to be transformers of communities by taking the good elements and reshaping them into a new kingdom, which is in concert with God's will.